Now we will discuss about material management using Ansys. Now in industries कोई भी part और assembly जब डिजाइन होते हैं any product, then उसके डिजाइन को कंट्रोल करने के 4 important pillars होते हैं. They are function, shape, manufacturing processes, and next is the material selection. Yes, मटेरियल सिलेक्शन बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज ये अल्टीमेटली उस प्रोडक्ट की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेसेस को भी कंट्रोल करता है. सो द चॉइस ऑफ मटेरियल्स हैज अ प्रोफाउंड इम्पैक्ट ऑन रिलायबिलिटी, मैन्युफैक्चरेबिलिटी, कॉस्ट एंड एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट एंड ऑफ कोर्स द परफॉर्मेंस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर हमें एक पिस्टन हेड डेवलप करना है तो उसके लिए हमें एक ऐसा मटेरियल लेना पड़ता है जो इंजन के हायर वर्किंग टेम्परेचर्स में भी पिस्टन को मेल्ट होने से प्रिवेंट कर सके. सो देयर आर न्यूमरस फैक्टर्स which control the performance of a product based upon the selection of the right material. Now, what are the challenges in material selection? किस तरह के challenges engineers face करते हैं? The first challenge is the data related to the material. जैसा कि अभी हमने previous ANSYS के सेशन में देखा था that for propeller blade we have used a composite material. Now in the properties section आपने देखा होगा वहां पे there were number of values for Young's modulus, Poisson's ratio and many more. In multiple times we have to select a material based upon a number of attributes जिसमें फॉर एग्जाम्पल टेम्परेचर के अकॉर्डिंगली प्रॉपर्टीज का वेरिएशन और बेस्ड अपॉन द टेंसाइल स्ट्रेंथ्स और बेस्ड अपॉन द रिएक्शन ऑफ द मटेरियल टू द फटीग, इस तरह के डिफरेंट पैरामीटर्स होते हैं. सो these attributes are highly specialized and have their own life cycles. So इस तरह के vast information को manage करना, store करना, that is one of the primary challenge which a design engineer faces while working on a project. And we also have to keep in mind that whatever the data we are storing for a particular material in our कंपनीज डेटाबेस, उसमें सभी प्रॉपर्टीज के साथ साथ वी हैव टू इनकॉर्पोरेट आल्सो द डेटा which comes from the testing. And suppose if any of the changes we are making to any of the properties, then उन changes का बाकी properties और बाकी steps पर क्या impact पड़ता है, this we also have to keep in mind. So this data needs a regular update. So that is another time consuming part. The next challenge is to maintain a proper connection strategy between these factors. Now let me explain this cycle. Now this cycle basically starts from the render properties. Render properties का मतलब होता है like properties related to texture and appearance, then basic properties, detailed properties. Now basic and detailed properties में like information related to Young's modulus, Poisson's ratio, tensile strength, and ये different अलग अलग तरीके के parameters आते हैं. Then again data from the testing, and all these particular parameters have to be inputted in our CAE model. यानी कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हम एनसिस में किसी पर्टिकुलर पार्ट का एनालिसिस कर रहे हैं तो उसके मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टीज में ये सारे इंफॉर्मेशन हमें करेक्टली इनपुट करने पड़ते हैं. ऑल्दो इसमें रेंडर प्रॉपर्टीज का रोल नेग्लिजिबल है, बट rest of the properties are very important. Then we have to keep in mind that, for example, we have to follow the proper system of units while inputting the values also, because in that condition if we are not maintaining a proper unit system, then the error may come in our final result. And then the CAE model's material data has to be properly collaborated with suppliers, specification and in-service data also for further use. तो ये इस तरह का एक complete cycle हमें maintain करना पड़ता है. This is also difficult to make, especially when the data related to the materials is quite large and complex. Also, multiple times what happens, as मैंने पहला भी कहा था, that sometimes we have to input the properties in a material which have multi-point values. For example, properties which changes with respect to temperature, pressure or strain rate. For example, जैसा हमें यहाँ पर image में दिखाई दे रहा है, this is basically the property information of a alloy material which is used in aerospace applications, and here the tensile strength of the material does not have a single value but it varies along with the temperature. So we have to input all the values of the tensile strength with respect to change in temperature. So it is not a single point value. Now next, it also happens many a times, जैसे for example मुझे एक मटेरियल्स के बहुत बड़े डाटाबेस से ये सर्च करना है कि फॉर एग्जांपल लेट अस से आई वांट टू सर्च अ alloy material which is available in my plant which has a fatigue strength of at least 300 MPa at some defined cycle. So how I will do this? For example, मुझे इस बेसिस पर एक मटेरियल का सर्च करके उसे मेरे प्रोडक्ट पर असाइन करना है. So this will be quite time consuming and difficult for me to search from a large database of my company's materials. Again, we have to make sure that for maintaining a efficient material information life cycle, we have to collaborate these four steps, that is capturing of the information related to materials data, its analysis to create the useful information, then use of that information in a proper manner, and maintenance of that information for the oncoming procedures. Now, as in the previous session, I have discussed about the PLM. Now, at this particular stage, it is very important to understand what is a PLM cycle or what is a PLM software, to be more specific. So PLM का मतलब होता है प्रोडक्ट लाइफ साइकिल मैनेजमेंट. बेसिकली एक PLM सॉफ्टवेयर किसी भी इंडस्ट्री में होने वाले हर एक तरह के मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेसेस के पूरे डिटेल्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, let us say that company is manufacturing a assembly of a car, then the information related to all parts of the car, their specifications, then vendor and supplier information, all that is being stored by the PLM software. So in this respect, whenever we are transferring any data, for example the data related to geometry from our CAD software or the analysis data from our simulation software, so we have to make sure that the material information related to this particular product in terms of CAD and CAE data should be in a proper manner. यानी for example, अगर हम 3 अलग अलग प्लेटफॉर्म से किसी भी प्रोडक्ट का इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे PLM सॉफ्टवेयर में इंपोर्ट करते हैं, then we have to make sure that उसका जो मटेरियल इंफॉर्मेशन डाटा है वो तीनों प्लेटफॉर्म्स के लिए यूनिफॉर्म रहे. अदरवाइज इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू स्टोर द स्पेसिफिकेशंस स्पेसिफिकली रिलेटेड टू द मटेरियल इंफॉर्मेशन. सो ultimately whatever the information is being stored in the PLM software, it is being used for enterprise resource planning and manufacturing execution strategies. So these are the terms related to the production. So while going to the production stage, all the information has to be revived from the PLM software in a proper manner. Now PLM सॉफ्टवेयर्स का limitations क्या है? That they can store the material information, but they may not be able to see into the details of the material information. एक particular material के minute details अगर मुझे देखने हैं, उसके properties को study करना है, then it becomes a little bit difficult in the PLM software. Now, let us discuss what are the important factors which an engineer has to keep in mind when we are coming to selection of materials. The first is the definition of a material. For example, let us take a material which is at its raw stage. For example, it is just dig up from a mine. Then later on it is being heat treated or it goes through various refinement processes. Then its composition may change. For example, we have a glass filled nylon or simply a strong stiff plastic. But going through the different kinds of refinement processes, the material specified for the procurement then becomes of a specific grade. Material का composition, material का name ये change हो जाते हैं whenever the material passes through different refinement stages in the manufacturing. Then again, for example, if I have assigned a material in my CAD, for example, let us say मैंने CATIA में एक पार्ट को कोई मटेरियल असाइन किया है by the name of aluminium, but it may happen that for the actual manufacturing process we have to specify a alloy of the aluminium and not simply the aluminium. So whenever that part comes in the Ansys software, then we have to make sure that the name of the element is being correctly specified. So because this information is ultimately going to be transferred into our PLM software. Next comes the uses of the material. This is a very important factor because a design engineer must know that where this particular material is being used. For example, let us say my company is been using a material from a long time and now that material has been replaced, or for example as per the latest regulations that material has been prohibited to be used. So what is the best replacement of that material? सपोज उसके जगह पर मैंने एक बेटर क्वालिटी का मटेरियल लिया, सो वो न्यू मटेरियल मैं और कहाँ कहाँ यूज कर सकता हूँ ये भी मुझे स्टडी करना पड़ता है while making selection of the material. So now, discussing all about these challenges, what is the solution? Now we have to talk about the solution. So in the next session, we will be discussing about a module called as Granta MI, that is a module in Ansys Workbench which helps us to deal with these challenges in a